Hello everyone, Andrea with I Dream of Crafting. This tutorial will be on how to make a duct tape bifold. It will have one billfold, one ID, and 3 card slots. This one is also going to be a little bit, special, I guess. I'm going to make a bifold, but I'm also going to embellish the outside with a hand carved emblem. So I hope you enjoy. Here are the supplies you will need: an X-Acto knife or a pair of scissors if you don't feel comfortable using an X-Acto knife, a ruler of some kind. The metal ones are really nice because they don't get cut by your X-Acto knife, and you can get really straight, even lines. If you do have a wooden ruler, make sure it does have that metal edge on it. It will make life so much easier. I would stay away from plastic because wooden plastic can, get cut very easily. You will also need a card of some kind so that you can measure the depth of your cards when we get to that point, and a plastic of some kind for your ID. At least 2 rolls of duct tape. You can do a wallet with one color. It just looks a little bland, I use clear tape for several things on my wallets. This is optional. Everything you see me do with the clear tape you can do with duct tape. Your wallet's just going to be a tiny bit thicker. So I do like to use the clear tape to not only save on duct tape, but to make the wallet a little more slim. And you will also need several different colors for the print. I'm doing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm using orange, so I'm going to do Mikey on the wallet. I will probably do the other 3. I'm not sure if I will record that or not. If you want to see the other 3 done, just leave me a comment and I will be sure to record them. So the white and black will not be used for the wallet, so I'm going to put it aside, and I will probably record the emblem on a separate video since it will take a little bit of time and I don't want this video to be huge. And you also need cutouts of whatever you're going to draw. So this one I will use for the face of the Ninja Turtle, and this one I'm going to use just for the tail part, since this one doesn't have it. This is the same way I used to make my duct tape paintings. So, you will also need a cutting mat if you are using your X-Acto knife. A cutting mat's also good for just rolling it out. It doesn't stick to the cutting mat like it would stick to wood or any other surface of the table. So that is all you will need, and let's get started. Alright, so whenever I do my wallets, I like to start with the card pockets first and the ID slot. So that is what I'm going to work on now. Before we get started, I would like to thank CloverDTC. I will put a link to her channel. You should follow her. She's awesome. I learned my card slots and ID slots from her channel. I absolutely love the way she does it, which is why I do it her way. So I would like to thank Clover for that. And if you've watched any other videos on how to do wallets and card slots, this is going to be a little bit different, but I think it is the best way to do pockets. It saves on materials, and it makes it really secure. I haven't had any problems with pockets falling off or breaking, so I swear by this method. So roll out a strip of whatever you want your card slots to be. For this wallet, I'm going to have the outside be green and the billfold be orange. So I want my card slots to be green as well, and I'm going to trim them with the orange. So roll out one strip of your color for the cards, and roll out. I like to do this all in one step. just roll out your clear tape. I usually cut everything at once so I don't have to go back and cut, but I will, for the sake of this video, if you are learning for the first time, I'll go just step by step. So roll out your, I have my green here for my main color, and I know it's hard to see, but I do have clear tape here. So you're going to cut your pockets at 3 inches and 3/4. So 3 3/4 inches. So I want 3 card slots. So we're going to cut at 3 3/4, 7 1/2, and 11 1/4. And if you were doing more than 3 card slots, you could, excuse me, you can go to the 15 inch mark as well, and that would give you a 4th card slot, which is what I would do if I was cutting all these out, because I do need 2 more strips for the ID. But as I stated before, I'm just going to do this step by step so it's easier to follow along. I don't want to confuse anyone. So these are your 3 strips for your card slots. So take one up and flip it over. And like I said, anything I do with clear tape you can do with duct tape. It's just your duct tape, or your wallet's just going to be a little bit thicker, because of course the duct tape is thicker than the clear tape. Okay, and then this first card slot, this first card slot you want to cover completely with the clear tape. So if your duct tape ever does this where it's bowed, I don't know if you can see that, but this is lying nice and flat for me, but this other side over here is bowed. The best way I found to get it to lay flat, because it is kind of hard to stick the tape when it does that, is take the back of your nail and just run it across, and it evens right out. That does take a little bit of the stickiness off, but not much. I mean, it's really inconsequential, especially when you're just sealing it up with clear tape. So line it up with the bottom and the edges and just set it right down. Alright, there's your first one. Now for these two, it's going to be a little bit different. These two, you want to leave a 1/4 inch above a 1/4 inch above the strip, which of course would leave a 1/4 inch of sticky showing. And this will all make sense, I promise. So for the moment, just line this up and then put your clear tape a 1/4 inch above the duct tape. And then you have sticky on that side and sticky on this side for the clear tape. Once again, do the same thing for your third card pocket. Flip it over, line it up as best you can. And go a 1/4 inch. And my tape is very staticky today. It's just drawing the tape up with it. Alright, so sticky on that side, clear tape. And you can see, maybe not, I have some overlap of the clear tape. That's fine. We're going to trim anyway. So if you have any overlap, you'll have the opportunity to trim that up. Don't worry. So now that that's done, we are going to work on the ID. So you're going to need both of your colors for this. The orange is going to be shown through the ID slot. It's going to be shown through the ID slot like this. And the green is going to be used to make your 2 hidden pockets. So you need both of them. So roll them both out. on your cutting board. I apologize, I have the hiccups. So we're going to roll these both out. We're going to need 2 strips from each color. And I use the clear tape. If you're not using the clear tape, then you want 4 pieces of duct tape from each color. But if you're using the clear tape, then you want 2 from each color and 4 from your clear tape. So, once again, 3 3/4. So we're gonna go 3 3/4, 7 1/2, those are those 2. And then keep going for your clear tape. It would be 11 1/4. And 15. All right. Now, here's what we do. This gets a little confusing, but I will go slow. And please ask questions if this is a little confusing. If I get a lot of requests or questions about this step, I will do a video just on how to make an ID slot. I didn't do that. Make sure you trim up everything. There we go. So all your pockets are 3 3/4. And all these measurements leave a tiny bit of room for trim, but don't trim too much or your wallet won't come out. So for your orange, or for your trim color I should say, your secondary color, you want to overlap them by 1/4 of an inch, lining up the sides as well, so it's 1 sheet of duct tape lined up 1/4 of an inch. Now for your color, for the color that's going to be shown through your ID slot, you want to cut it at 2 3/4. Save this piece, you will use it. Peel this up, flip it over, and this one's real simple. You're just going to cover the back so that no sticky is showing. You want to cover all of it. So line it up with the bottom and the sides, place it down. Once again, line it up with the top and the sides so that no sticky is showing. So that's done. Now for the green, for your main color, once again you want to overlap it by 1/4 of an inch. And for this one, you want to cut it at 3 inches because you want it to be the same height as the finished wallet. Once again, keep this, you will use it very shortly. And for this one, it's a little bit different. We're going to leave a little bit of sticky showing. So, peel it up, set it down. Same as before, cover the bottom completely. Line it up with the bottom and the sides. Now line it up on a line, and with your last piece of clear tape, you're going to leave 1/4 of an inch of the duct tape showing. So there will be no clear tape shown at all. It's different than doing the pockets. You want to leave duct tape sticky showing. So go down 1/4 of an inch on your duct tape and set it down. So you have duct tape on, or sticky on the duct tape. And this is going to be what is attached to the wallet. Once again, I have some clear tape showing, but that's fine. Excuse me. So, right now we're going to trim our pockets because we will need trim for the ID slot as well. So take your trim color and cut out a strip that is 4 inches long. It's longer than we need by about 1/4 inch, but it's best to have a little too much and trim it up than to have not enough. Now that you have your strip of 4 inches, I like to move everything over to the middle of the board just so I can have my notches on each side so I can make sure everything's straight. You want to cut these every 1/2 inch. So that you have 4 pieces. You're going to have 3 pieces that are 1/2 inch, and then your last piece is going to be a little bit short. But that's okay, that actually works out perfectly. That short piece on the bottom, this one, we are going to use for the ID slot. So, take your card slot, line the top of the duct tape up on a line so that your sticky is on the 1/4 inch above. Take your duct tape and you're going to put your trim on the clear tape. I like to put it a little bit on the duct tape as well, just to seal that clear tape completely. But make sure it's as straight as you can get it so that all your trim is straight. So once that's on, you just flip it over and smooth it down on the back, and there is one pocket. We're going to do the same thing for this one. Line it up on a line. Excuse me. Line it up on a line and cover that clear tape with your trim color. Flip it over and smooth it down on the back. And this is why it's nice to have that overlap, in case you do that. Trying not to get any air bubbles. If you do though, you can pop them. It's not too big of a deal. And this one that is completely sealed, you're just going to line it up on a line and go 1/4 of an inch down, because this pocket is going to be a little bit shorter than the rest of them, which is perfect. It's exactly what you need. This is going to be your bottommost pocket. It's going to be the one that shows completely. So make sure this one is the best one you have out of the 3. If you mess up on one of these, it's fine. Just put it as the first or second pocket and no one will see it. So flip it up, smooth it down, and there you go. Now you want to take your scissors or your X-Acto knife, whatever is most comfortable for you, and trim. And at this point, if you have any clear tape showing, you can trim that off as well with as you're trimming your trim. Also, it's very helpful to have a wastebasket nearby. These wallets have a lot of mess with them. So if you have a wastebasket or a bag nearby, that is very helpful. Otherwise, your board's going to get really messy really quick. So get rid of those, and we have our trimmed pockets. So set those aside. Now, for the ID slot, this is where I may get a little funky. So, what I like to do first is I like to take the big piece of orange that we cut off of this piece, and I line it up on a line, and I attach it to the ID plastic 1/4 inch on, and that's not straight. Make sure you get it, try and get it as straight as you possibly can. There we go. And this ID slot, I cut my IDs to be, let me see, what is this? This is 3 1/4 by 2 3/4, so 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. That's what I cut mine by. I do find that mostly I have to trim anyway, but that's fine. I would rather have it a little bit big and give me room to trim. So make sure your piece is showing through and line it up with the plastic of the ID slot right below where the sticky starts, and fold it over to attach it to the sticky on the the back of the orange piece. And there you go. Now you see it's a little bit off, but this is what I'm talking about. It's big. It's, you know, it's a little big. So I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to trim all this and make it square. So as I said, I like to have things a little bit big and have the opportunity to trim and make it how it's supposed to be. Because if you make things exactly how you need it, then you have to have everything perfect for it to work out, and that usually doesn't happen. So here is part of our ID slot. We're probably going to have to trim it again, but we don't do that until it's attached to the wallet, because things can happen. So, oh, we're not done actually. So, when you get the back attached, then you take up the last little piece of your trim and you unfold this. Oh, you know what? I'm forgetting something. The clear tape. This is one of the ways I use the clear tape. Up here, I don't know if you could see it. I was actually trying to make this video last night and it wasn't working. So up here I cut a strip of clear tape that was 8 inches long, because I'm going to need the whole 8 inches for the finished wallet. So I cut a strip that was 1/4 inch, and then I cut it into I cut that 1/4 inch into a 4-inch strip. The 4 inch is used for the ID slot and these card pockets, and I'll show you how. But you have a little bit of sticky here, so take your clear tape and just place it right on that sticky. I like to use my nail and get it down into that seam. Then you can take your scissors or X-Acto knife, clip that off, the excess, and then refold it so you can get that tape used to folding that way. Now what you do is you take your trim, you open this back up, line it line it up on a line and put it right where you're going to do 1/4 of an inch on the border. A little less if your tape is small, but 1/4 inch usually works. And you're going to put it right where that seam starts. Then you're going to flip it over and smooth it out on the other side. Excuse me. Now, if your trim tape is larger than what this is, you want to make sure that when you flip it over and you attach it to the other side, that it's not showing through on this side. You don't want any white to be showing on that side. So you can take it and trim it. And there you go. That is the finished step. Now, you're going to take the small piece that you used, or that you cut off of this piece. Open it up and line it up. Now you want this green tape to be hidden by your trim. So when you close your ID, you don't see any green. I see a little bit of green when I do that, so I'm going to readjust it and put it back on. So when you close it, you don't want to see any green coming through under your trim. Then you take your green piece. There we go. You take your green piece and you line it up with the bottom of your ID slot and make sure, actually I'm going to cut this off. I have a little bit of clear tape on this side, so I'm going to trim that up really quick because that'll screw that up. So make sure all your clear tape is trimmed. There we go. Line it up with the bottom and the sides. Make sure this sticky part is not going to get caught when you fold this over and smooth it down. There we go. And then you just snip off the excess. Now you can see that this isn't lined up completely. That's because I wanted to make sure I had this up here clear. So there's no problem. All you can do is just trim that off. Trim off the orange as well as the rest of your green. And there you go. That is your finished ID slot. So this is going to be attached on this side and this side with tape. So this is your ID. The wallet's going to be back here, so this is another one of your hiddens, and this is going to be another one of your hidden. So we're going to put that aside, and we're going to get ready to do the rest of the wallet. So just move your card pockets up. We're going to need them very shortly. I do my wallets a little bit differently than most people, mostly through trial and error, because I do use the wallets that I make just to make sure that the design works, and I found this is the best I've found that works so far. So this is where it's going to get a little funky, but it's not too bad. But if you have a way you do your wallets, please, by all means, do what you know. But you'll see, and hopefully, if you like it, please feel free to use it, because I think it's the most stable design that I've come across. So for your main color, you want 2 strips that are 8 inches long. So we're going to cut that. And 16, 2 inches. Then you peel it up. Like I said, I like to move things over. Line it up on a line. Oops. Yeah. Sorry, I got Riley hair on my tape for some reason. Alright, and you want this total piece to equal 3 inches in height. So just make sure you're lining up your sides and press it down. Now, this is where it deviates a bit from other wallets I've seen. Other tutorials would tell you to flip this over and seal the back side with your billfold color. I actually don't do that quite yet. What I do is I take my card pockets and I place these on first. So I put mine, I try a little bit under a quarter of an inch. The lowest I've ever had to go was a ½ an inch, and that was low. But try a quarter of an inch. If it doesn't work, then just peel it off and put it a bit lower. You want your card, and you put it in there, and you want a little bit of space, about an 1/8 of an inch about between the card and the top of the wallet. That's about a good size. And make sure you're lining your cards up with the edge of the wallet. Once that's there, you put the rest of your cards down. You don't need to test these. It's just to make sure that the top one works. And there you go. Alright, now I have a little piece of tape here. If you don't, just cut a piece of tape, your main color. Cut a piece of tape that's 4 inches long and cut it in half. Take one of them and secure these down so that they don't move on you. And I'm going to do what I just told you to do. I'm going to do I'm going to cut a piece of tape that's 4 inches. And then cut it in half. It doesn't have to be perfectly in half. In fact, if you just cut it on the inch line, that actually is perfect. Because then you'll have one that's a little bit small, and then you can use that to hold these down. I already have that though. So then you take the one that's an inch, and you're gonna secure your pockets on the inside of the wallet, and these line up or they should line up with the 1/4 inch line wherever it is on your mat. So go to the ½ inch line. You want these to be held down by at least 1/4 of an inch of tape. So just line it up. And then smooth it down. Make sure it's all there. Mine's a little bit off, so I'm going to readjust. Alright. Then you want to cut this off up here. And cut this down here. And there you go. Those are now secure. So you can take this off now. They're not going to move on you anymore. And now what you want to do is, this is where you're going to seal the back side.